Welcome to the world of Warships with Captain Yamo. I'm your host, Captain Yamo, and this is Keeping Your Eye on the Ball. We're going to be running this match in the New Mexico, the American Tier 6 battleship. And what's going to be important in this one is to kind of keep an idea of what's the goal. What are you doing in the game? Obviously, you want to win. You always want to win, don't you? At least I do. And if we take a look at the lineup, you'll see that we have a Tier 7 battleship, the Colorado, but otherwise we have equal numbers of battleships, and we have one Tier 5 New York battleship where they have all Tier 6s. Looking at the cruisers, we have a Tier 7, they have two Tier 7s, and then we have a Tier 6, and they have another Tier 6, and then we also have a Tier 5. We have a Tier 7 destroyer, the Hatsuharu, and they start at Tier 6 with the Farragut's, which we also have, and then we have the two Tier 6 Matsuki's on both teams, and our team has an Ognavoy and Yevny, and they have two Nicholases. We'll go ahead and use the magic of the fast forward button to get us into some action here so that we can keep the video length a little bit shorter. There I am talking about a previous match that some of us were in. It's funny because sometimes you'll see some of the same captains in separate matches, and you kind of can go over what happened. So we're playing the map New Dawn, and the game type is domination. So obviously our team has a control point A, and the enemy team has control point B. And you can win by capping the other team's control point, and you can also win by sinking the enemy. Funny, when we were playing this game, I thought Glenn Amos' name was Glenn Amos, but what can you do? Maple Leaf Nation. We go to get a gun. Kept a pretty tight formation for the beginning there, and then some of us start splitting north and south of the island. You know, if I had the ability to, you know, get my teammates to go where I'd want them to, I'd want them all to go south of the island so we could engage and disengage as a team, but you don't always have control like that, right? You have to make do with what's going on the map. So in order to keep my guns on as long as I can to help these guys going north of the islands, I slow my speed down to about 5 knots. Catch a Nicholas who tried to ground himself, or beach himself, and we'll get him out of this match. Destroyers under 7 kilometers are always a primary target for me when I'm in a battleship. I don't want those fuckers to get close to me, you know what I'm talking about? Back to doing damage to Canada there. And if you take a look at the situation there, both teams have lost 4 ships. We've lost a battleship, a cruiser, and 2 destroyers. They've lost 3 destroyers and a cruiser. Meanwhile, this guy's complaining about the matchmaker. Well, plus 2 tiers is very normal. You gotta get used to that kind of stuff. You gotta do what you can. I mean, sometimes you're outclassed, and you just do the best you can. You have to be able to do that. And he is complaining because our Colorado is sitting back there at the spawn, and that makes sense. I was trying to take a look to see if we could see if there was any kind of motion on him at all, but look at it. Then Mooney Driver there is telling the enemy team where he is. You know, look, if somebody hasn't started playing, if it looks like they're AFK or whatever, don't give them away. They might be having trouble loading. I've had the game crash on me and had to completely start over again from the client on up to get back into a match. And if you look at the count, now we're down 6 ships. They're down 5. Never give away friendly team positions. It's an awful way to play this game. It was horrible behavior on Mooney Driver's fault. You know, he was doing a total douche nozzle. So that's the source of the report. Plus, you know, someone starts doing this, they start doing this verbal diarrhea stuff after they've been sunk or whatever, and it's distracting for the other players that are trying to do something. I mean, it is possible to win a match without a top-tier battleship fighting. It is possible, especially when all the other ships match the tier of the remaining ships. And as I'm saying in the chat window there, I'd rather somebody on our team was AFK than someone on our team starts telling them where the AFK guys are. That's a pretty awful shot, though. So looking at the situation, we're down to 6 ships. They have 7. They have the point advantage. And we lost another ship. Now we're down to 5 ships. And it's looking pretty bleak. But Captain Yamo doesn't give up, don't you worry. So we have a cruiser coming down on our A. I've got a New Mexico in front of me. There's a New Mexico heading west. And so now, of course, I know I've got to engage the guys that are closest to me. There's a Fuso. Jacks up my turret. Sometimes I'll repair them and sometimes I won't. In this case, I repaired because I knew I needed as many guns as I could have. So you kind of have to make that call. Sometimes I let the ship burn for a while. I'll let the fire burn out or whatever, and sometimes I won't. I get a nice slamming hit on Maximus. He returns the favor and knocks out one of my guns.
The enemy team has taken the lead.
And you'll see we're down to 3 ships now. This is an awful situation. I mean, it certainly looks like we're headed for a huge loss. So I know I'm going to try and do as much as I can. You know, take out as many as I can with me. Do as much damage. Look at that. Look at that. He just hit me for 2 Citadel shots. More hits, lost another turret again. It's going to take some time to repair. That shot missed. I thought I was done. But I get a final nice devastating shot in on him, and I start turning my ship around. Now, if you look at the game map, you'll see that the enemy Fuso is now entering our circle to cap. We have that destroyer chasing down our last cruiser. Way up north, we have a destroyer up in B. So I finish off my reports for the day, because you can't be giving away enemy. You can't be giving your team's position away to the enemy. That's just foolish, asshole behavior. There's no reason for it. And so there's that Fuso, and I can see he's coming around that island. But if you look at what's going on here, our destroyer is capping B. And so in my mind, to win the game, what I absolutely must do is I must reset our capture point. I have to reset A. We just lost the cruisers. So now I know there's a destroyer in the south, there's a cruiser in the south, and then there's their battleship on A. I don't know where their other destroyer is. But I'm certain that the Fuso is coming south on me and is going to want to finish me off. So here comes the gut check. Do you reset the flag, or do you try and sink the enemy Fuso? What would you do? It's pretty hopeless, right? We got a 2-on-5 situation. I'm down to 8,000 health. I don't know why I haven't healed already. There we go. Trying to get some of that back. Well, I'll show you what I do. I take shots on Glenn's anus. And then there pops the Fuso. I even got a second round of shots off, so watch the reset on A. More hits, and I reset them all the way back. Of course, I sent some encouragement over to the Hatsuharu over there. And then Anubis sits there and starts asking me about the battleship right in front of me. If I hadn't shot the battleship in front of me, I guarantee you could see there's someone else in A trying to capture it. If I hadn't reset it, this absolutely would have been a defeat. There's no way around it. And I knew the Fuso was coming. You'd have to be a fool not to know that he was coming after you. But you have to keep your eye on the ball. Can't reset when you're dead, Anubis. I understand that. And there you go. You take your shots where they count. We won. 163,000 credits, 1,625 XP, 50 hits, 2 incapacitations, 2 destroyed, 1 set on fire, and 3 base defenses. Without those base defenses, we were done. I had a crappy match. I only did 1,000 XP in this match, but we won. And that's what's important. You have to keep your eye on the ball. You have to know how to win. 65,000 points of damage, not bad. 2,498 points of damage off the second shell type. I did everything I could to help us win. I'd like to thank you for joining me here on World of Warships with Captain Yamo, and I hope to see you on the digital high seas, my friends.